What if the worst thoughts, the worst feelings, the worst evidence, and the worst stories and the worst events, what if those most horrible things that you just want so badly to get rid of and to escape and to not have to suffer with anymore, what if all of those could actually mean nothing to you? So that even when that thought gets triggered, it's like, so, and even when that feeling's there, it's like, oh, there's a feeling, like, I can feel this. Or, even more powerfully, what if the very worst thoughts, feelings, most horrible things could actually be used themselves for you to be able to believe and feel and experience the life that you dream of even more? What if those most horrible things that your old patterns trigger, thoughts and feelings, what if those themselves could actually be the very things that allow you to choose and give life to your vision, to live your vision to the fullest even more? How unstoppable would you be? How much would you genuinely be like completely free? Because no matter what your brain, no matter what life throws at you, you can actually make it nothing to you, or you can actually make it something good that empowers you to be able to live the life you want. How amazing is that? How free does that make you feel? Like, how crazy would that be to be able to do that? Well, I'm here to tell you in this video that not only is that possible, but I'm going to teach you exactly how you can do that so that you can gain all the power back over your life, over your mind, so that no matter what your brain throws at you, you can be like, I do not care, and actually have that be real for you. So, the first thing you've got to understand, in order to overcome all the unwanted thoughts, feelings, evidence, stories, which, by the way, when it comes to the evidence or the stories or the events in your life, really, it's all about the way that you think about those things, right? Oh, this event happened, of this person judged me, and it was horrible and it was terrible, when really it's just the way that you're thinking and feeling about that event that makes it so bad, right? So when I talk about the events or the evidence, like, that's really just the thoughts and feelings as well. So when it comes to overcoming all the unwanted thoughts and feelings, the first thing, the way that you can actually gain power over it, take all its power away so it becomes nothing to you, so that it becomes genuinely like, here's the whole goal here, is that we want to be able to choose and give life and actually step into your vision no matter what. We want to be able to do that and make that real for you no matter what your old patterns, no matter what anything tries to stop you or prevent you from doing so. Because like we've talked about, we don't want to put all of our focus on the unwanted thoughts and feelings. We don't want to be just, oh, I just have to expose to those and I have to focus on those and I have to always be doing those things and I have to be feeling those, or I have to escape them, I can't feel them, I have to get rid of it, we don't want to put all our attention on the negative, because then what are we doing? We're just always focusing on that. We're always, re-experiencing those patterns. We're rewiring those patterns. We're putting all of our power towards the negative. Instead, we want to put all of our power towards the things we do want in our life, the patterns we want, the beliefs, the feelings, the experiences, the actual reality that we do want in life. So that's why the vast majority of this program is all about creating what you do want. And then this is the only time that we really talk about what you don't want in depth. But still, it's going to be amazing for you actually breaking down how to take all the power away from what you don't want, or basically what to do, what actions to take towards the things you don't want. Because so often I've helped people in the OCD community, and they're like, I'm always told, like, don't do anything with the thoughts, don't react to them, don't avoid them, don't. And it's like, but then what do I do? Like, they usually don't really give you an action plan other than just expose them, just accept them, just bow to them, just let them do whatever they want because they have power over you. Can't. No, you don't have to do that. Instead, I'm going to teach you how to take their power away, how to ultimately not really do much with them at all. Instead, give all your power towards what you do want. But then as they get triggered, as your old patterns try to hold you back from choosing and giving life to the life that you want, that you can just dismiss them, just get rid of them, just make it so they're nothing, just kind of, oh, yeah, there it is, cool, and they get rid of it. Or actually change it, shift it into something that supports you being able to choose your vision more. So, the number one thing you've got to understand in order to develop this power, to be able to take all the power away, to take the power back over your mind, over your life, and to actually make it so that you can get rid of the thoughts and feelings that you want, without trying to fight or protect yourself or, oh, I have to escape them. Instead, from an empowering place. So, I'm going to tell you something. You're going to think I'm crazy. You're going to be like, okay, David has officially lost his mind because there's no way. Like, I don't know what he ate today. Like, I don't know what's going on, but he's crazy. Woo! So, the thing that is actually true, and let me explain myself, is you have never suffered from an intrusive thought. You have never suffered from an anxious feeling. You've never suffered from a shameful feeling. You've never suffered from the story your brain tells you. You've basically never suffered from thoughts or feelings that your subconscious triggers. You don't. And you've never actually suffered, or at least experienced lasting suffering, prolonged suffering from an event that happened in your life. That even when you fell to that goal, or that person rejected you, or that person treated you awful, like, you didn't actually suffer from the event in your life either. And before you're like, all right, I'm turning this video off, like, he's crazy. Let me explain why. It's because you have suffered from those things, but not directly from those things. Instead, ultimately, all suffering doesn't come from the thoughts, the feelings, the events themselves. Instead, the suffering comes from the meaning that you give to the thoughts and feelings and the events themselves. So to give you an example of this, you can actually start to see how this works and that it is true. I want you to imagine that you found a genie, right? You found a genie in a bottle, and this genie is going to grant you any one wish. And so, of course, you wish that you can get rid of all the suffering, right? All the patterns, thoughts, feelings that you don't want, and that you can actually have the life that you dream of, right? You kind of get this combined wish of just everything you want. All my dreams come true, and I get rid of all the bad. But the genie is only going to grant this wish on one condition. The genie will grant the wish for you tomorrow morning. First thing you wake up, tomorrow morning, all your dreams will be true, all the bad suffering, all of it will be gone forevermore. But the genie will only grant that wish tomorrow morning for you if today you experience all the thoughts and feelings of the OCD, of the anxiety, at a level 10 out of 10. If that was the case, then really think about it. When that horrible intrusive thought got triggered, you would be like, yes, there it is. Make it even worse, make it even more horrible, make it even more like feeling like it's out of control or like it's gonna happen. And when you felt the anxiety, you'd be like, good, feel even more anxiety, have a panic attack. When you have a panic attack, you'd be like, have 5 panic attacks, have 10 panic attacks, like this is amazing. And when your brain comes up with that most sneaky reason of why you actually need to be so terrified or so shameful or so whatever, you'd be like, oh yes, find even more reasons. Like all of a sudden, all the most horrible thoughts, feelings, events, evidences that usually cause you so much suffering and that you hate and just want to get rid of so badly, all of a sudden those things would become the most exciting blessing in the world for you. Like, say yes if you can see that that is true. Say yes. And it's not because the thoughts or feelings change themselves, but it's because the meaning behind them changed. Your view of reality towards them, of what they actually mean, what they actually are, changed completely. So then how you experience them and how they existed to you completely changed because you were viewing them differently. You were giving them a new meaning. Or similarly, if you knew for a fact that you would only ever have 2 more intrusive thoughts or 2 more panic attacks ever again. After that, you would never have another one. In that case, your next intrusive thought or your next panic attack, you'd be like, yes, there it is. And then your second one, you'd be like, oh, yes. Like you'd be celebrating, you'd be cheering. It would literally be like the best moment of your life, the most exciting thing when you had that second intrusive thought, that second panic attack. Even though it's the intrusive thought, it's the panic attack, it's that horrible thing you hate so much. But it's because the meaning behind it changed so much that you'd be like telling your family and your friends and just like posting about like, life's amazing, this is so good. And they'd be like, why are you so happy? You'd be like, because I had an intrusive thought, I had a panic attack. And they'd be like, you're crazy, right? But it's because of the meaning behind it. And a real life example from Tony Robbins that I love, right? Those were kind of more imaginary, like, oh, this is possible. But from real life, Tony Robbins, he was working with 2 different musicians. And one of them was struggling so much, having panic attacks, anxiety, just couldn't perform, it was awful. And the second one was loving performing. That was their dream come true. Every night when they got to go on stage, it was just like, yes, I love it, best day ever, right? So Tony Robbins talks about how when he was talking to the first one, the one that was struggling, he's like, okay, tell me what's going on. And they were like, yeah, so when I'm about to perform, my heart just starts pounding, starts beating so fast, and my breathing gets really fast. I have all this energy inside me. I'm just like shaking, and I'm like sweating even, and that's when I know like I'm so anxious. I'm having a panic attack, and I have to escape, and I can't perform. He's like, dang, like, yeah, that's rough. And he talks about the second one that loves performing. He's like, okay, like tell me, what's it like when you perform? Why do you love it so much? Okay. And the second one that loves performing, Tony Robbins like, okay, tell me, what's it like? What's it like when you're about to go on stage? And they're like, let me tell you, Tony, my heart just starts pounding, starts racing. My breathing gets fast. I just have all this energy. I'm like shaking. And that's how I know I'm ready. This is going to be so exciting. Like, this is going to be just the best time of my life. Like, that's the crazy thing about it. Same thing with, okay. Like, that's the crazy thing about it, is that fear, worry, anxiety, it has almost the exact same biological, like physiological response as excitement. So both of those musicians, they're having pretty much the exact same thing happen, but one of them defined it, they gave it the meaning of this is horrible, this is panicky, and their goal belief state behind it, their view of reality behind it was probably, oh, people are judging me, or oh, what if I lose control, or like whatever awful things. So the actual thoughts and feelings became something awful for them. Whereas the second one, the meaning they gave and their view of reality behind it, oh, I love performing, this is great, this is how I know I'm ready and I'm excited. So it was real in that way for them, because that's the meaning they gave. Same thing, I remember an example in my life that kind of shows this, is I remember when I would go up to approach a girl that I was interested in, I thought was cute, right? I'd be getting ready to go talk to them, and my heart would be racing. I'd be like all shaky, and I'd have like all of that adrenaline, like, oh my goodness, I'm so nervous. And I'd try to do all these things of like, believe something different, but it was tough. That feeling, all those responses were still happening. And then finally I was like, you know what, David? I don't want to get rid of those feelings. Like, I don't want to get rid of that like adrenaline and the shaking and because that's what makes it so exciting. Like, that's what makes it so worthwhile to go and approach that girl that I find attractive, is because it's so exciting. It's like, if it was just this boring, who cares thing, then it wouldn't be this exciting thing that's worth doing, right? So instead of being like, oh, I have to get rid of it, it's like, no, I'm just going to redefine it. I want to keep the adrenaline because that makes it exciting. That's why I want to do it. And that changed everything, right? So again, you don't experience the thoughts and feelings themselves. You experience the meaning that you give to them. And if you can now see that this is actually true, say yes. Right? The reason why the OCD, anxiety, thoughts, feelings are so horrible is because we give such awful meanings to them. We go, oh, because this thought is here, that means I am that kind of person, or that means I am going to take that action, or that means that thing must be true because I'm feeling the anxiety or feeling the emotion with it, or oh, that means that I'm going to be stuck feeling this horrible way forever and never happy. Like, we give all these horrible meanings to it that just aren't true, or that don't have to be true as soon as we choose something else. As soon as we choose a different meaning. So that is how you can take all the power away from the unwanted thoughts, feelings, evidences, all of that. It's just when they happen, when they get triggered, change what you are choosing about them. Ultimately, your quality of life, your experiences, all of that comes down to what you are choosing, right? So the problem is that most of the time we just automatically let our subconscious tell us what to choose. We have this feeling of anxiety and we automatically start choosing, holy cow, I'm so anxious. Oh my goodness, this horrible thing's happening. Oh, I hate this feeling. Oh, this is terrible. We automatically choose that. And that's why it becomes so bad. Here's what we are going to do then. So a couple points to kind of show you how this is going to work is just a reminder of subconscious indication. That, again, it's not just about what words you're thinking. Oh, well, I'm thinking these words of this strategy, so, oh, that means I'm doing the strategy. No, it's not just about what words you're thinking or what you are trying to do. It's about how you're actually communicating with your mind to actually get that message to your subconscious, to actually treat life and treat the thoughts and feelings or treat whatever it is as if that is real, and then it's how it will become, right? However you treat something is how it will become. If you actually treat that thought a certain way. Not, oh, it's just a pattern, it's just a pattern, it's just a pattern. But no, I'm going to treat it as if it is just a pattern. To tell my brain it is actually just a pattern, so I don't care what it does. Right? If that makes sense, say yes. So, with that, a reminder of what makes you stuck. The reason we get so stuck into unwanted thoughts, feelings, is because first you have a convincing topic you've memorized, but then the reason why you keep staying in that convincing topic and you keep firing that and you keep programming it more and more is because from the convincing topic, we have all these unwanted thoughts and feelings that are protective thoughts and feelings. That's the truth of what they're actually doing, is they're trying to protect you from the memorized danger. That's not even real, it's just memorized. Right? You with me so far? The mistake that we make is these protective responses. The way that we communicate with our brain about these protective responses, or the meaning that we give to them, the way we treat them, is in a way that just reinforces the convincing topic that's causing them in the first place. Right? If I have a convincing topic that people are judging me and hating me and I'm never good enough, then when I have the insecure thought and I go, oh my goodness, no, I can't think that thought, or oh, I have to think that thought so I can somehow, if I somehow expose myself, then I can beat it and then I can finally be free. Whatever we do, we treat it as if it's true. We treat it as if it's something that's actually bad. We treat it as if it is what we need to be believing so we can protect ourselves from it because it's this horrible, awful thing we have to escape, or we have whatever, right? When we treat the protective responses themselves as a danger, or when we treat them in a way that reinforces the convincing topic behind them, then all that does is make the convincing topic stronger. You have more and more of the negative thoughts and feelings, which then you treat them in a way that reinforces the topic, and boom, it's this vicious cycle that just keeps you always feeling and thinking those ways. So, what we are going to do instead is, instead of when the thoughts and feelings get triggered, we choose to define them and give them the meaning that reinforces the convincing topic. Instead, we are going to choose to give them a meaning and define them. Again, choose, it's choosing through the power of choice. Instead, we're going to choose to give them a meaning that they're nothing, that they're not real, they're not important, they're not bad. So in that way, it's like, no convincing topic. I don't need any of your protective mechanisms. I don't even need you to exist because you're nothing. I don't care. I'm not feeding into that topic anymore. Or you give the meaning, you treat it in a way, the protective responses, in a way that they actually reinforce the new belief, the vision, the things you want to be experiencing as real, viewing as real for you. So that then every time that convincing topic gets triggered and triggers something, it automatically takes power away from the convincing topic, gives all the power instead to that new program, that new vision, that new belief that you were trying to program in your brain. Does that make sense? How that can have power, how that can actually take all the power away and repeatedly give more and more power to the life that you want. If that makes sense for you, say yes. And if you're excited to learn how to do this, because it's like, holy cow, that actually makes so much sense. I can do this. This will be so life-changing. And this is why nothing's worked before, is because I haven't been actually communicating in a way that reinforces my vision. Instead, I've been treating it in ways that's reinforcing the old patterns. So holy cow, this can be so empowering for me. If that is true for you, say yes. All right. A couple points I want to make before we go into really how to do that will give you some more power is, one, Tony Robbins talks about this a lot. So whenever he helps people, he talks about how, again, patterns. We have all these patterns that just keeps running, right? The same pattern that just keeps playing the same thoughts, same feelings, same everything over and over again. And we treat it the same way, and we try to force it, or we try to not force it, or whatever. We do the same thing over and over, and it's just this pattern that's on repeat. So he talks about how you want to disrupt the pattern. You want to break that pattern. You want to do something to just like shock yourself out, break yourself out of the pattern, so that instead of being, again, like, oh, all the thoughts and feelings from my subconscious and events in my life, they're all down here. And instead of me being at a higher narrative, instead of me being at a soul level where I can then actually have power over them to define them a certain way, or to give them a meaning, or to, change how I'm experiencing them. Instead, oh, I'm down here and they are real, and that's just how it is, and that's just, they have power over me, and I just have to change them, and that's just me, and that's... When we're operating down here, within the pattern happening, we gotta do something to, boom, break out of it and get back up here at a higher narrative level, to distance ourselves, to step out of it, to snap out of it. And so he talks about doing something to disrupt the pattern. So an example I'll give here to kind of show this is, one time Tony Robbins was helping this guy that had major anger issues. So he was like a rage monster, right? And all of his coworkers, colleagues, they brought Tony Robbins to this dinner to help the guy. They didn't tell him, but they just brought him like, all right, oh, this guy needs some help, Tony. What you got? And Tony was like, okay, all right, I'll see what I can do. So he starts talking to the guy with rage issues, and he's like, yeah, like, I'm not actually your therapist or coach, but I'll tell you what I would do if I was helping you, right? So tell me, Tony Robbins asked him, he's like, tell me about when was the last time that you really lost your temper? And the guy was like, yeah, so, a couple minutes ago, the waitress, I just really started getting mad at her and Tony just wham, just whacks him in the shoulder, just boom. And the guy's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, what the heck? Like, he's just so shocked. Like, this guy just smacked me. And this is this big, powerful guy, angry guy that likes having his way, right? And Tony just smacked him. He's like, what? And Tony Robbins is like, oh, I'm just showing you what I would do if I was helping you. I'm not helping you, but like, if I was, this is what I would do to help. And he's just like smiling, nodding his head. And the guy's like, so confused. So Tony Robbins is like, okay, tell me about the another time you've been mad. And he's like, well, a little bit ago, my wife, I just started, and Tony Robbins just whacks him again. He's like, what are you doing? Like, what the heck? And so the reason he was doing this, because like, I guess he asked him again, tell me another time. The guy's like he doesn't want to tell him about another time being mad. So the reason Tony's doing this is because the guy is so used to just, when someone does anything I don't like, I just rage, and it's just a pattern that he automatically follows. But now, Tony Robbins is disrupting the pattern with some crazy thing that's just like shocks him out of it, like, what the heck? And he gets the guy to start reliving the anger, right? Revisiting when he was angry and why, and then he just, boom, smacks him out of it to shock him out of the pattern. So with a lot of these things, think about how can you do it in a way that disrupts the pattern. That's like, oh, like, usually I just do this thing and this thing and this thing. So when I tell you the strategy, don't do it just within the same pattern, within the same way of, oh, well, I always kind of think about it this way and try to escape it without actually trying to escape it, because you're not supposed to do that, but I kind of do it. So, oh, I'll take this strategy and just insert it with what I always do in the pattern. No, try to do it something totally different. Just snap yourself out of it. A big change, just a drastic, like, boom, where you're like, oh, that's never happened before. I've never done that before when this pattern's happening. The more you can do that, the more power you can actually have to snap yourself out of the pattern and be up here at a higher narrative soul level where you can then change the meaning, have power over it, change your life. The other thing I want to go over that will help you a lot, it will make it basically, however much power you have from these strategies, if you do it like this, it'll just make it even that much more powerful, even that much more real. And again, this is a really powerful way to separate yourself from the thoughts and feelings. So that instead of fighting against them at their level, instead you're up here and they're all down here, which gives you the power to be able to redefine them to change how you're experiencing them. So, I've mentioned this before, but when the thought or feeling or whatever is getting triggered, you don't want to fight against the thing itself. Instead, you want to redefine or give a new meaning to the entire topic behind that specific thought. So if there's a specific thought about, oh no, someone's judging me in this moment, I don't want to sit and try to change meaning of, oh, well, they're not actually judging me because of this reason, or, oh, that's actually, like, yes, you can still, when you apply these strategies the right way, it will still work if you do it specifically to that thought or feeling. But what's even more powerful is if you go, instead of just, oh, well, I'm changing the meaning to this specific thought or fear, instead it's, when you say it like this, any thought that's telling me that people are judging me, boom, you change the meaning to it with these strategies. So it's not just, oh, I'm feeling anxious right now, how can I change the meaning? But any anxious feeling, anytime I feel anxious, it's actually this new meaning. Oh, it actually means this. Oh, it actually is this good thing. Oh, it's actually nothing. The more you can do that, again, it really separates instead of, oh, this thought isn't bad because of this, and I'm fighting against this thought, and then your brain goes, no, this thought is bad. You're like, no, it's not. And so you're just like, I don't even care about this thought in the moment, right? It really separates you from needing or getting or forcing in the moment, because it's like, it's not even about the moment. Like, nothing about the moment really matters. It's that anything that tells me this awful thing, or anything, any intrusive thought, or any anxiety, or any shame, or any reason why I'm going to lose control, or any reason why, whatever, all of that, the whole convincing topic as a whole, anything that tells me that is all this new meaning of it's nothing, or it's actually empowering to my vision. Because then it's like, oh, I'm up here, and yeah, anything down here, I don't care for. Not at all, right? And this was super powerful. I mean, again, the story of when I was really struggling with the religious patterns, And so I was going to this religious leader over and over and over again. And finally, like the 6th time, he was like, David, when are you going to stop listening to the lies from Satan? Right? The lies. And I was like, oh, boom. Like, it's not just that this thing is a lie. It's that everything I've gone to him is a lie. So now I can actually, and what I did is I was like, anything that makes me beat myself up and hate myself for being this awful sinner that's never going to be good enough, anything that tells me that, I don't care for. I just don't. I will not choose anything from that whole topic as a whole. So anything from that topic, I'm just going to change the meaning of it in these ways. In that way, you can use the power of pre-deciding, of commitment towards basically anything bad. Oh, anything bad from this topic, I've already pre-decided and committed that all of them, I'm just going to change the meaning in this way. I'm not going to choose them. Instead, I'm just going to use it to choose my vision more in these ways. Right? And that way it can be super powerful. I did the same thing with my sweat mark, fears and patterns. I struggled and I tried all these different things of, oh, well, people don't care in this moment because of this, or, oh, well, I don't care in this moment because of this, or, oh, well, I'm not going to sweat. And it was always about the moment or that specific time. And then finally I was like, you know what? Anything about sweating at all, good, bad, anything talking about that topic of me having sweat marks and needing to like figure it out, I just don't care for. It's all nothing to me. Instead, I'm just going to change the meaning of anything that happens that way to be nothing or to be something that supports my vision. And then I'm just going to choose my vision like every time. Right? That's how I beat the anxiety. It's like anything that brings an anxious feeling is just nothing. I'm going to change the meaning of it. That's how you can have so much more power, because then you are up here and anything down here, you're changing the meaning you're declaring your power over everything down here. All the unwanted thoughts, feelings, everything from that topic as a whole. It basically goes along with the idea of if you had this enemy that you knew was trying to poison you. So they hand you this drink that's poison. You know it's poison. You know they're trying to destroy you, poison you. Then when they hand you that drink, are you going to be like, oh, well, maybe I still do need to drink it, because maybe if I don't, then it will be scary, or maybe if I don't, I'll feel anxious, or maybe I do need to drink it, or maybe I just need to drink a little part of it, or maybe I just need to drink it, just part of the drink, or maybe I should try to just like filter out the poison and only drink the good stuff, because I do need to drink part of it. No, you wouldn't do that. You take it and you just throw it all away, because any drink from that enemy, you're just going to throw away because it's poison. It's the same thing with your patterns. Like anything from this topic as a whole. It's not like, well, maybe part of it's true, or maybe part of it I need to really figure out. No, anything from that topic, I can pre-decide and commit that it's nothing to me. I'm not going to choose it. Instead, I'm just going to change the meaning of it to make it nothing, to make it something that supports my vision. I don't even have to do anything with it other than just do whatever I can to just get it out of the way so I can get back to my vision. Right? That's the way you can have power here. Before we go into this, just real quick, decide and commit that anything from your topic, nothing. It's going to be nothing to you. You're just going to change the meaning, make it nothing, make it empowering. Decide that. If you're ready to decide anything from your topic at all, anything from that emotion or that belief or goal, belief state, all of it, you're just going to make it nothing. You're going to make it empowering to instead choose your vision. If that is something you're ready to commit to do, then say yes. Say yes.